before I got Lyme disease, I was a quintessential New Yorker. My normal day sometimes started at 6 a.m. and did not end until midnight. And then all of a sudden I get a tick bite and I can't even lift my head. And it caused me to pass out uncontrollably. I was crawling around my house in pain, chronically depressed. So I went from high energy to literally being bedridden. It was living hell. I actually ended up in the hospital 3 times. I had IV poles sticking to my veins. Nothing helped it. I actually only felt sicker. At that point, I had met a nurse, and she admitted that she had fully healed her chronic Lyme disease using bee venom therapy. You start to sting yourself 3 times a week, and you have days off in which you're not stinging yourself, and you can bring bees around with you in mobile hives and travel with them. My first month after starting bee venom therapy, I was out of a wheelchair. By my 3rd month, I was hiking and active again. Within a year, I knew that I had found a way to fully heal. I got better stinging myself with bees.
This is fascinating. And Brooke joins us now from her home in Sonoma, California. Brooke, thank you so much for your time. Before we get to the bee venom solution you sought or found, I want to talk about how you were feeling, because that pushed you to the point to explore something so unconventional. You said that you were 35 years old. In the blink of an eye, here you are running your own company. Life was great. By all accounts, you're healthy. And then you started to notice a difference in your body, in fatigue and all of these things that trickled in.
Oh, yes. I mean, it was literally overnight. I got a tick bite. I ended up the day of the tick bite, running, traveling all the way 4 hours on my own, hosting a dinner party, even dancing in the evening. And then the next morning I woke up and I had a tick bite. I knew it was something that I needed to get antibiotics for, but I went on antibiotics and it didn't actually heal me. In fact, I felt worse. I had contracted not only Lyme disease, but a co-infection called babesiosis, which can actually kill people, which can be fatal. And I went from what I thought was a happy, healthy, young 30-year-old person to literally being bedridden and hospitalized overnight.
I mean, for people to understand what you were dealing with, you couldn't even take a shower. Like this, your body was in that much pain. Doctors will tell you, give me the level of pain. Were you at the most extreme pain you'd ever felt?
It was so unbearable that there were most days that I wish I just would wake up and not have to deal with the next day.
Yeah.
I was, put on very, very high strength prescription pain pills. I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis nearly overnight, fibromyalgia nearly overnight. I had chronic migraines that would, cause me to basically lose my eyesight on one side of my eye. And on top of that, I was running fevers that would leave me literally almost having seizure-like symptoms. So it was debilitating beyond belief. And I'm not the only one. 1.9 million people, they estimate, have late-stage Lyme disease in America alone.
You spent around $150,000 going doctor to doctor to try to find relief. It took about 3 months for you to finally be diagnosed. So you've got a diagnosis. You've exhausted your resources. How did you learn about this bee venom therapy?
That was a very long journey, actually. That took me around 2.5 years to really discover bee venom therapy and embrace it. I had to exhaust every single, aspect that allopathic Western medicine could give me, from IV antibiotics to oral antibiotics, antivirals, et cetera. And then I also exhausted, all, other, modalities that, Eastern medicine can bring,
Right.
from Chinese acupuncture to even ozone, therapy. I
mean, you're naming things most people have never.
Oxygen chambers.
You're naming things most people have never even heard of. I mean, you lost after antibiotics. People are like, wait, she explored all of these things. So you exhausted your money, resources. You've read everything you can. And then did someone refer bee stinging to you?
I was actually at a clinic that helps people with debilitating chronic illness. And there was a nurse there who had chronic Lyme disease, late stage Lyme disease. And I knew she was fully healed, but I didn't really think that it wasn't anything but from the offerings at the clinic.
Hmm.
And then my parents came into town because I was hitting them up for some cash because I'd basically run through my savings.
Wow.
And when they learned just how much money I was spending each month, from anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 a month, they don't come from my parents are not very rich, and so they basically balked at me.
Mm.
Asking them for maybe $100,000 more
Oh
to just
my.
keep staying alive. They just didn't have it. And at the same time, the nurse walked in, and I said to my dad, well, it worked for her. And he just did not, buy it. And he walked up to her and he said, so how did you get better? And she kind of hesitated, and it came out that she finally admitted that she got better from stinging herself with live bees. And
Wow.
my dad said, well, how much does that cost? And she said, well, once you learn how to do it properly and you have all the safety, protocols in place, you know, it's pretty much free if you can get
So
your hands on some
what's
bees. And
in
my
the
dad looked
bee?
at me and he said, kid, that's what you're doing.
Kid, that's what you're doing. He's like, you're not going to get $100,000, but you can get a bee. Tell me this, though. What's in the
Exactly.
bee venom that you believe or that people who study this say helps with Lyme disease?
Oh, well, I mean, it's multifaceted. It is an antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, and has chemotherapeutic properties, and is actually being studied the world over. And there's so much research going into even how it can eradicate potentially HIV in the future, and even HER2 negative breast cancer. It is a powerful, medicine cabinet of just of bee goodness. And you really just need to look overseas to where they're putting money behind
Okay.
clinical
Now,
research,
you
but not in the
speaking of
United States, sadly.
behind you, you have your bees. That's how you carry them around. You don't treat yourself 3 times a week as you had done previously, but you do have them kind of like an EpiPen, but they're bees inside. Um, Cost-wise, clearly you're not exhausting resources on this, but are you cured? Is it considered a cure from your perspective?
From my perspective, I am fully cured. I have not needed to sting myself with bees for over 4 years.
Mm.
And I am 100% healthy. My doctors just say they can't believe that, how healthy I am. And the members that I work with at the Heal Hive will tell you that I'm up at 6 a.m. I'm working, hours upon hours a day, and I have unlimited energy. And I just have been actually, Lyme free in terms of testing for over 5 years. So I
Mm.
consider it a cure for me. I won't say it's a cure for everyone because
Right.
it really requires you taking healing into your own hands.
It is a phenomenal conversation, and we appreciate you joining us. I know that obviously there are going to always be skeptics for things like this, but it's something you believe in, and you believe it helped in your search for an answer to your health. Thank you so much, Brooke, for your time.
You're welcome. I wouldn't be here without them.